Greetings, fascinators. I'm just out walking the land here at the moment. Is this thing working? It is. Let's check. Oh, crikey, it is. It is. Whew. For a moment there, gang, I thought I was going to have to ask myself the question, what do I want my attitude to be? Which, by amazing coincidence, is what I will be speaking to you about today, and your ability to choose your attitude. When you choose your attitude, it changes how you see the world. And when you choose your attitude, it also changes how other people see you in the world. Most of the speakers here can well remember March 2020, and all of you do because of COVID. I remember getting my first phone call from an association out of Florida saying, Conor, we're cancelling the event and we don't know when we'll be running it again. I put the phone down, and I do admit I did come out with one 4-letter word. But for those of you fascinators whose mind is in the gutter, the word was oops, OOPS, which actually stands for presentations stopped. Now, 6 more times in the following week, I had the opportunity to express that 4-letter word, but I also had the opportunity to ask myself the question, what do I want my attitude to be? It was natural to get disappointed and frustrated, but when I asked myself the question, what do I want my attitude to be? I didn't say I wanted to be frustrated and annoyed, and I made some effort to lift my spirits. Now, this is a question that can help each and every one of you every day, and it can help you in the most surprising places as well. A few years ago, I was driving in the western suburbs, turned left at a set of traffic lights, and a few seconds after turning left, I noticed in my rear view mirror a mobile discotheque. That's right, cop car, flashing lights. I pulled to the slower side, and my new friend pulled to the slower side. And I remember saying to myself, as clearly as I'm standing here, I said, well, for the love of St. Patrick and St. Bridget, what could that fine officer of the law want with an upstanding citizen like me? Well, that was the gist of what I was thinking. I do admit I did come out with a 4-letter word there. But again, by the way, the word was oops, which in this case stood for police stop. Oops is a very useful word, my friends. Okay, so I said to myself, no, why did he want to speak to me? And the only reason I figured why he might want to speak to me was when I had turned left at the filter arrow. It was slightly red, but not by a whole lot, no. The other thing that bugged me about this was the cop was driving an unmarked police car, which is totally unfair, fascinators. It really is. And the way it actually happened was, I was coming up to the filter arrow, turn left. The cop was on the other side of the traffic lights waiting to get the green for him, and also waiting for some dumb Irish paddy to go through the red light. I obliged. Okay, so I pulled into a small little parking lot at the side of the road. And by the way, that incident about the cop driving an unmarked police car, if he'd been driving a marked police car, I probably would have seen him and I wouldn't have skipped through the slightly red light. So, my friends, think about this. Unmarked police cars encourage lawless behavior. Now, fascinators, if you learn nothing or remember nothing else from this overall fascinating conference today, remember, unmarked police cars encourage lawless behavior. Right, so I pulled into a small little parking lot at the side of the road. My new friend followed me in. And I know this will happen to none of you, but if you ever are stopped by the cop, then they'll start checking you on their computer for your record. In my case, to see if I was a member of the Irish Republican Army, or even worse, a Cubs fan. Go White Sox, go White Sox. And as he was checking me, I asked myself the question that I said you should ask, and that I ask when things go wrong. And that question was, what do I want my attitude to be? And I said, Conor, there's no point in being antsy and annoyed about this. He might have some kind of veracity in stopping me. So I see the cop get out of his cop car and walk up towards me. Because it happened in the Chicagoland area, which is a good Irish town, I prayed he had an Irish name. I prayed he had this vision of Ireland that the roads were still unpaved, and that his firstborn child had just been christened Flynn Murphy O'Flaherty. I look up, Officer Schmidt. who advised me in minute detail what he had seen me do wrong. And he also advised me about the green, yellow, and red lights, and no reference at all to slightly red. Now, I'd ask myself the question, what do I want my attitude to be? He asked for my license and insurance. As he's looking at my license, and this dialogue that you will hear, I'm not making any of it up. As he's looking at my license, he says, sir, I like your attitude. And I'm thinking, jeepers, this question does work. Then he said, sir, your insurance certificate is out of date. My wife normally looks after that, officer. For the men here in the call, that is known as delegation, okay? So the cop smiled when I made that comment, hesitated, and he handed me back my insurance certificate, and he said, sir, you don't look like a guy who drives around without insurance. I'll give you a break on that, but I am going to cite you for going through the red light. Now, this incident happened a few years back. The date it happened was the 16th of March, one day before St. Patrick's Day. So the rest now of what was turning into a reasonably affable conversation continues as follows. You might be surprised that one of the comments I made to the cop didn't cause him any problem at all. Conversation goes as follows. How much will this cost me, officer? That'll be $75, sir. Just pay in the next 2 weeks and there won't be any further problem. $75? Have you any idea how many pints of Guinness I can get tomorrow for $75? The man cracked up laughing. I think he thought I was smoking something. Then after he kind of stopped smiling, or even while he was still smiling, he said, look, sir, if I was to cite you for going through the red light and for the lack of insurance, you would have to go to traffic court, and this would be a lot more expensive for you. So I said, okay, I appreciate the break you're giving me. He gave me a $75 love note, as I refer to it. Wish me the best. I wished him the best. That was the way the conversation ended. Now, I pull into a small little parking lot with only one exit and egress. So to get out of the parking lot, I actually have to turn my car around and drive by Officer Schmidt. As I'm driving by Officer Schmidt, I kid you not, he looks up and he waved to me with a genuine smile. And I'm thinking, this is crazy. This guy's just fined me 75 bucks and he's waving to me with a genuine smile. And then what did I do? Human beings mirror human beings' behavior. I wave back to him with a genuine smile, and I'm thinking, this is really crazy. This guy, Officer Schmidt, has actually fined me $75 and I'm waving back to him smiling. The world is nuts. But what Officer Schmidt, though, would not have known was that for only $75, I'd got a really powerful and impactful anecdote about the importance of asking yourself a really powerful question when things go wrong. And for everyone here on this Zoom call, things will go wrong over the next few days. Hopefully nothing too serious, but if you can remember to ask the question, what do I want my attitude to be? It'll make a real difference to you. But it's not only just when things go wrong. Now, again here, I'm sure no one in this call has any colleagues that they have any difficulties with. They have no customers or vendors that they have any difficulties with. But if by some chance you're going into a meeting tomorrow that you know might be tense, or negotiations that you know might be difficult, you have two choices. You can choose your attitude or not choose your attitude. If you don't choose your attitude, you're probably going with all guns blazing, looking for everything or nothing, and you'll come out with nothing. If you choose your attitude and say, this meeting, what do I want my attitude to be? You're probably going to say, I need to get something out of this meeting. I need to be able to come back to my superiors or my other people and say, I got something out of this meeting. We didn't go down in flames. And you can get that if you, fascinators, remember to ask yourself the question, what do I want my attitude to be? I like to try and leave my audiences with mental triggers to remember some of the stories and lessons that I give. So just by a nodding of the heads here vigorously, if you agree with it, what are the chances of you in the next 24 hours seeing someone at the side of the road having a discussion with a mobile discotheque? Yeah, all right, heads nodding left, right, and center. Okay, the next time you see someone having a discussion with a mobile discotheque, and hopefully it isn't you, remember the story the Irishman said. Remember the question that that person should be saying is, What do I want my attitude to be? And it will help the situation. And my friends, I promise you that each time you see a mobile discotheque, hopefully you will remember the what do I want my attitude to be. We've got neural pathways in our brain that we can actually train them. And the more you hear the question, what do I want my attitude to be, as you see those mobile discotheque lights, the more likely is that you will actually bring the question, what do I want my attitude to be, into your home life, into your work life. I wish you the very best. Stay safe, stay well, and soon we'll all be able to get together again.